summer you lost your dad. But I guess the good thing about that is you guys had gotten closer in the last few months.
Well, actually, in the last couple of years, we had started to have more conversations, and he was investigating his family tree and a bunch of different things because he has a real mixed heritage himself. His mom's African American and his father came from Venezuela but grew up in Harlem. So it's not like he knew all about his family and stuff. So I was helping him, you know, work on that, and we had this project together, and that's something we had never really had because my parents got divorced when I was 3. But, you know, I do have really nice memories, and he actually saved everything I've ever made for him in my life since I was 2 years old. And I have it. It's like in this folder that he made for me. And
did it surprise you that he had that kind of a sentimental side?
Yes, because I thought he didn't even know my songs, and people were like, come on, like he doesn't know your songs, but he just didn't talk about it. He thought, like when I was singing in Vision of Love, Suffered from Alienation, all those things I was saying, he thought that was about him, like me feeling abandoned by him, which it totally wasn't. And we had this whole conversation, which was like, look, that, you know, it's just about how I've always felt growing up. I always felt different being, you know, multiracial. I didn't really feel like I knew where I fit in. I felt this way, that. When we had like this intense conversation, and then he said to someone else, you know, Mariah told me such and such, that really means so much to me, that lifted such a burden off me. Meanwhile, I never knew it. So I just thank God that I had that time and that we were able to clear the air of everything.
So it was cancer?
Yeah. I was with him up until basically the last, you know, few hours. And a lot of family that hadn't seen each other in years came together, and that made him really happy, I know. It's kind of like a hard thing to talk about, but we had like, at the end, he couldn't really have flowers or things like that because he would have an allergic reaction. So the sunflower became this thing, and my mother told me that they used to grow sunflowers when I was little, and I didn't know that. So it became this thing where I always would bring sunflowers. And so for his memorial, we did the whole, the place where we had his memorial in sunflowers, and that's kind of why I did it for the video, for that scene.
And there's a track on the album called Sunflower, right, for him. I know that, you know, your being biracial has been a big part of you, not only in your growing up, but also your career. And do you feel like it's something that still maybe people don't appreciate enough is such a part of you? That
I think most people don't know, honestly. And it's funny because the more I talk about it, it seems the less people know. It's so strange. When my mother married my father, her family disowned her. Most of her family disowned her. So what does that do to your sense of self?
Sure.
It's like, okay, does that mean like I'm dirty, I'm unhealthy, I'm like not, you know, I'm not worthy of living because like this union is wrong, therefore like what does that make me? You know, that's a thing that's always been kind of disturbing for me.
And of course, you know, since Butterfly, there's been this dichotomy or this thing of, you know, people always saying, well, is it good? Are we gonna, this time are we going to get the hip hop Mariah, or are we going to get the balladeer Mariah? Are you caught in the middle? Do you feel like, is that an annoyance?
No, like when I'm creating a like an album, I just write the, you know, make the records that I want to make. Growing up in New York, growing up the way that I did with such a mixed background, you couldn't help but be absorbed in like the hip hop culture.
The fact is, you're as at home, if not more so, in the R&B and hip hop world than you are in the pop world.
I mean, in all honesty, you know, most of my friends and most of the music that I listen to and most of my influences are R&B or hip hop.